Hey guys, welcome back to Daisy Crochet, or welcome if you're new. So guys, it has been a little while since me or Fiona was on here. I think it's been over a month now, but I had a day off of class today because my class got cancelled, so I decided I would sit down for you and make a video. I hope it's not too late to do this, but today I'm going to be talking about winter/Christmas holiday markets and what my bestsellers have been at them and how you can change your summer and fall products to fit the winter markets. So first I'll be talking about some differences that I have found between summer markets and winter markets, and then I'll be talking about how my sales differed in both and my bestsellers at winter markets compared to the summer. And I actually have my book with me right now that I used to track my sales last year at the winter markets. I have done winter markets for 2 years in a row now, but I didn't track sales the first year for some reason. So I will be going off of memory for that one. But I do have like exact numbers in my notebook for last year, so I'll be letting you guys know that as well. Okay, let's just get right into it. So first I'm going to be talking about some of the biggest changes that I have found between doing summer markets versus doing winter markets. The first change that is pretty obvious, at least if you live in a colder place like Canada, is that summer markets are outdoors usually, whereas winter markets are usually indoors. And this does actually like kind of affect like the sales and who comes to them. I feel like I did a weekly market in the summer and it was like a farmer's market, so like there would be people going there to get like vegetables and like everything like that you would see at a farmer's market. So I got some sales just based off people like walking by and seeing my products, or like even driving by, whereas in the winter people really have to choose to go to the market, and sometimes they even have to pay to get in. I don't know if I've ever been to one where you have to pay to get in, but I know that that is common with like indoor markets. So another thing that I found is that the traffic of people is a lot different for me in terms of summer versus winter. In summer I feel like it was more steady. There would obviously be like busier weeks and slower weeks, but for the most part it was just pretty steady, not like insanely busy. Like it would be rarely busy like that. Whereas in winter, usually it was like a smaller window of time, like probably like a 4 or 5 hour market. And I found that especially on the first night of winter markets, it would be crazy busy. Like there's usually like a constant flow of traffic, at least at the ones I've been to. And so one of my biggest tips for you guys is if you have a venue or an organization doing multiple markets, try and get into the first market. Not saying that like the first one is always going to be the best, but I have found that the first one out of all, like if they do multiple, is definitely the busiest. So that's a good tip for you guys. Okay, so next, you would think that weather wouldn't have as big of an impact on winter markets as summer, but it definitely does. At least where I live, because I've actually had Christmas markets get canceled before because of the weather. Even though they are indoors, people just could not make it to them, so they got canceled. So definitely keep that in mind. And honestly, like if you're able to, I'd recommend doing multiple different winter markets and doing them at multiple different venues. I have done that in the past, and it's really good to see like the different like audiences and like just like how you can set up differently, and like it's really good to like experiment and stuff. And then one of the last things that I just want to touch on is that I have found that a lot of winter markets provide tables and do not require you to have tents. Obviously, like they're indoor usually, which I have found kind of odd in the past. I usually always bring my table just in case, and then I don't end up using it. We definitely had to like shift our setup a little bit from what we usually would do, because usually we have 2 tables in like an L formation. But this time I don't know that they wouldn't let you do that, but it was more just not like the vibes for those markets. So they'd usually either give you like the 8-foot regular tables, or at one of my markets we actually had picnic tables that were only like I think 5.5 or 6 feet long, so it was not a lot of space to work with. So I would definitely recommend getting things like crates, like wooden crates, or like any thing that will make your stand go upwards rather than take up a lot of space on the table. And then also, I know this is probably not very common, but if you do use a picnic table, definitely utilize the front bench If I have a picture of when we did that, I will show it to you guys, but I don't know if I do. It was actually like one of my favorite setups we've ever done because it was like a tiered display. It was really cool. And also we could sit on the other side of the bench. It was great. But that's just a little tip if you do have to use a picnic table. So I would recommend, I always do this no matter what market, but setting up your table a few days before the market, like a mock setup, just to make sure that you're gonna have enough space. Like use a table you already have and that everything will look good, and then you won't have to be scrambling at the market. Okay, so now that we have all of that out of the way, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about product changes and like trends I've seen with purchasing for summer versus the winter. And I will be using my notebook to show you like real sales that I have done compared to the summer. So first I'm just going to share a few things that are kind of surprising to me about winter markets that I've done at least. I have found that stuffed animals and like plushies are not as popular. And that's not to say like if you only do stuffed animals you're not going to do well. Definitely they were still like a popular item, but we definitely like in the summer pretty much if we brought like certain stuffed animals they were guaranteed to sell, and at these markets I found that it was not guaranteed. Like usually by the end of all of our markets they would all be sold, but I wasn't finding necessarily that I had to scramble to make a lot more, whereas I usually am making mainly plushies throughout the summer to restock. So that is definitely a very different thing that I did not expect going into winter markets. And another thing product wise is that a lot of people for crochet specifically are looking for more warm clothes and like warm cozy items, whereas in the summer I feel like if I ever brought like hats or anything they would be like, oh, don't remind me that it's gonna be winter, or like I don't need that yet or something. Whereas in the winter they're like hats literally fly off the shelf because everyone wants them because it's really cold and they just feel like they want something warm. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like it's definitely like they go from not wanting to look at the hats to needing to buy it. So I would definitely recommend making hats or beanies or something. I do have a pattern that I've been using for my winter markets that works really well. I'll link it below. It's not my pattern, but I recommend it. So yeah, that's pretty much my broad tips in terms of products, but now we'll go into more specific products that I sell at my winter markets, and I will give you like a summary of what was the best sellers and stuff like that. Okay, so keep in mind that half, if not more than half of my sales in winter markets come from food items. I'm able to do a lot more food items in the winter because I don't have to worry about the heat melting anything. So I do things like cupcakes and like peppermint bark and stuff. Just keep that in mind. Like sometimes it will seem like I didn't really sell a lot, but in reality, like a lot of the sales came from food, but that's a story for another time. Okay, so at the first market, my best sellers were hats, Christmas trees, and scrunchies. So again, hats are very popular. And then Christmas trees, I will link the pattern that I use for these as well, but I just want to let you guys know that the person in the tutorial uses a foam cone or like styrofoam, I don't know what it is, inside of the Christmas tree to make it stand up. And I don't really have access to those like readily available to me, so I just stuff them and I close up the bottom. If anyone's like curious on how I close up the bottom, just let me know and I'll like do like a quick like tutorial or short or something for it. But I basically just decrease to close up the bottom and I stuff it instead and it works fine. They're definitely like my favorite project to make in winter, and they were a super bestseller last year, so I would definitely recommend doing Christmas trees on your display. So we did them in a bunch of different sizes. I think the most popular was buying one large and one like small medium, and we sold those in a set for $20. I remember one time like this girl bought like 6 trees at once and it was so expensive, but like she loved them so much and we were so grateful for it, and I just literally love the way they look on the display. I'll show you a picture. Okay, and then for the scrunchies, I will dive a little bit more into this once I get into the markets where I sold a bigger variety of things, but I do stocking stuffers in the Christmas time, and I have like a sign that says stocking stuffers and then a little area full of these little things that are all $4 each or 3 for $10. and it's mix and match, so you can get like one stress ball, one face scrubby, and one scrunchie if you want to. So in this case, the person got 3 for 10 scrunchies. I do find that scrunchies do sell better in the summer, but they definitely sell in the winter too, just so you know. So yeah, that's another tip for you guys. Definitely like consider doing deals on your products, because like I'll show you guys like this, like all of these are sales made with deals, and it's not like you're losing money, like as long as you're still making a profit off of your products. But it definitely like tempts people to buy more than just like a singular thing. I've seen a lot of people who are like buying one thing and then they'll realize that there's a deal, and then they'll be like, oh, I should get this one too and this one too, for like stocking stuffers and stuff. So it's definitely a great idea for the winter specifically. We definitely see that deal become a lot more popular in the winter compared to the summer. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, like, in addition to scrunchies, I kind of listed some already, what I use for my stocking stuffers, and I will let you know if I have a tutorial for them, and I'll link them. So the first one is scrunchies. I have a tutorial. I'll link everything down below. And then stress balls, we have a tutorial. I'll link it down below. I love those. You can also do mini octopi, which we didn't sell in the winter last year. We just started making them this summer, but they're a best seller. So definitely make those. If you do one thing, make those. I wouldn't personally put it into the stocking stuffer deal, just because we usually sell them for $5 rather than $4. But I promise, like, they will still sell even if you don't put them as a deal. So definitely make those as well if you want to. We have a tutorial. And then as well, face scrubbies. I don't have a tutorial out for them yet, quite honestly, because I didn't sell a lot of them in the summer, so I didn't feel the need to make more after I had made my initial stock for them. But they don't really sell that well in the summer, to be honest. But in the winter, I have to restock them every market. Like, actually, I'm not kidding, every single market. I don't know why people just love the idea of them in the winter, maybe for gifts or something, but they're definitely very popular. So I would recommend making them. I don't have a tutorial out yet. If you would like a tutorial, I can make one for you guys, or just search like face scrubbies on like Pinterest or YouTube. I like the ones that have the little strap on the back so that you can just put your fingers in them and then like use it. So yeah, definitely recommend that. More products that typically don't sell very well in the summer but sell really good in the winter are dishcloths. We sell them in packs of 2 for $8. A lot of those sell in the winter, and also beanies or like winter hats. We sell them for $15, and again, I will link the tutorial below for those. Yeah, and then I think our top stuffed animals that sold were definitely bees and turtles. People went nuts for turtles in the winter last year. I don't know why, but like we were having to make a bunch of turtles and bees, of course. So if you're gonna make any last minute stuffed animals for your markets, definitely do those. If you want me to like recommend you a tutorial for either of those, just let me know and I will comment back to you. Guys, I might have to go back on what I said before about the scrunchies selling better in the summer, because I definitely sold a lot of scrunchies last winter. So definitely don't count those out. Okay, so just in summary, what I have learned is that products do kind of like change in what people want from the summer to the winter. I would recommend doing products other than stuffed animals, unless that's like your whole brand, and like I totally understand that, but like I focus mostly on stuffed animals in the summer, to be honest, and then I just have other products in case they want them. But in the winter, like I definitely like to have a very diverse array of options for the customers, because I find that like everything kind of like sells well that I bring. I would definitely recommend hats. I would definitely recommend Christmas trees. And then as for stuffed animals, bees and turtles were definitely our best sellers, as well as whales. I do have a mini whale pattern. I've never tried selling those at winter markets, but I'm sure they would be great sellers. I will link that down below for you guys. Also, stocking stuffers is like a great thing to bring. They don't take long to make, and you can literally like, they just load up bags full of them. Like, I'm telling you. I'll put like in the description stocking stuffers, and then I'll list them all like that we use aside from the face scrubbies. And then if you guys want a tutorial for those, let me know and I will make one. Okay guys, I think that's gonna be it for today's video. If you have any specific questions for me, please let me know, because I kind of didn't have a plan for this video. I just started talking, which is really not professional of me, so sorry about that. But if you have any questions that you want me to answer, I will answer them in the comments as quick as possible. And if you need me to make like another video about anything specific, then let me know and I will definitely do that for you. I absolutely loved getting back in front of the camera today. I'm so glad that I had time, and it was so nice to talk to you guys again. Anyways, I wish you guys the best of luck at your holiday markets this season. I so wish I could do some this year, but unfortunately I am at school until the end of December, so I don't have time this year, but maybe someday in the future I'll be back doing them again. And I literally can't wait for you guys to experience it if you're going to, because I honestly love winter markets so much. Like, I think I like them more than summer markets. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like it and subscribe down below for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.